Hey Wizarding World, Anna and Mortentia here. So it's Mabon, which is the pagan and Wiccan holiday for the fall equinox, and it's also when we celebrate the harvest and all the yummy things that we have grown all spring and summer long and preparing for the winter. And yeah, so because it's that holiday, I thought it would be nice to have a nice little chat about religion or ways of life and give you guys a little background on my past and how I was raised. My family is Catholic. My mom's side is German and Dutch, and my dad's side is German and English, and Cincinnati, where I'm originally from, is a super big German Catholic town. So we were all Catholic. My nan, who is still an English citizen to this day, who I get to go see in a couple of days, and I'm so excited because I haven't seen her in years. She lives out in California with my aunt. She was Anglican, which is the Church of England, and when she married my pop, because he came over with World War II and was stationed in her town, and they got married, she converted to Catholicism, which Anglican and Catholicism are pretty stinking similar. So my family is Catholic, and I was raised with going to church school and going to church on Sundays, and we prayed before big meals, like my grandparents would come over Sundays after church, and we'd have dinner together, and we'd pray on Sundays. But my parents really never taught me to pray before every single meal. I knew you were supposed to do it, but they didn't really enforce it. And when I was really little, we said our prayers before bed, but then as we got older, they didn't really enforce it. So it was never such a super strict regimen in my family. So my sister and I went to the public elementary school, and then our elementary school ended at 5th grade, and then 3 of the middle schools in the city merged together, and you went to that middle school, and then a couple more of the middle schools merged together, and you went to the bigger high school. And instead of going to the middle school, my parents decided that we needed to go to a Catholic school and have more of a Catholic education. So when we went to middle school, we ended up going to the Catholic elementary school, which was K through 8, I'm sorry. And let's just say it was not fun. I hated that school with a firing passion, and that's where I really got bullied a lot. It was not fun. And then high school, I got to choose which school I went to, but of course my options were the different Catholic schools, and there are a ton of Catholic schools in Cincinnati. So many people are oh my god, you went to private Catholic school? That must have been so expensive. And I mean, yeah, it was more expensive than public school, but because there are so many and it's such a normal thing in Cincinnati, that they're not that expensive unless you're going to one of the super hoity-toity fancy posh ones, which we didn't. So I picked my high school. Ended up being the same one my sister went to because she really liked it, and I don't think I picked it because she went there. And in high school, it was a Catholic school, and we had religion class, and freshman and sophomore year they were the normal classes, Old Testament and New Testament and things all about Catholicism and Christianity. And then once we got to my junior year, we started having really cool classes. We had world religions, where we learned all about the different religions in the world so that we could be aware and open and accepting and respectful of them, which that's really weird for a Catholic school. Normally they're trying to convert everyone else to be Catholic too. So I was in love with that class. It's where I knew about Buddhism, but it's where I really learned okay, this is what makes up Buddhism, and this is how they practice, and so I really liked Buddhism, and I really liked Shintoism, which is the main religion in Japan, And I remember going to my mom and being like, Mom, I want to study Shintoism and Buddhism. And my mom was like, no, no, you're Catholic. You're going to be Catholic. That's that. And like, I love my mom. I love my dad. They did incredible raising us. They were super loving and caring. And the more I've talked to my mom as an adult, the more like I get why she was so adamant about religion, because like we've been talking about how like, you know, like I've started going to therapy to talk about like stress and anxiety and all these problems, and like back in the day, like you didn't do that. And my parents are older. Like my dad just turned 73 and my mom will be 70 in November. So like they're older, and I'm 30. I'll be 31 in a couple of days. I'm 31. Oh my god, I'm getting old. But like things were very different when my parents were like kids in the 50s, because they were born in the late 40s. And what people really had back then was religion, you know? It was so much more of a huge part of your life, and it's what got you through a lot of times. So like, now that I'm older and we've talked more about it, like it makes sense why my mom was so adamant about like, this is what's been here for us. This is what got grandma through her depression, and like what's gotten us through tough times is that like we prayed and we supported each other and we cared about each other, and like we put God first, and like that makes sense. But like, I don't know, the Catholic faith just never really seemed right for me. It never really made sense. And like, I don't know, that made sense. Like, it's like I get what they believe, but like, and then the more I learned about science and stuff, it was more like, but none of these things really make sense. Like, this old man in the sky made everything, and like, I'm not saying don't believe in that if like you're a Christian or a Catholic, or you know, someone that believes in like God and that kind of like all the like miracles and magic that happens. I kind of stopped caring about the Catholic faith in high school, and like I still went to church to like make my mom happy, but once I was on my own, like I stopped going, and like didn't really consider myself a Christian, and like I've even like tampered with the whole idea of like God isn't real, which like if God is real to you, like please by all means, like I'm not trying to make anyone believe something, but like, you know, it just never made sense to me. So I started looking for, you know, like just being open to different people and their beliefs, and you know, trying to find what worked for me. And I had a couple friends in high school that like were Wiccan, and I always was interested in it, but I never really looked into it until like actually this past year. And I really started learning about it and what it was, and how it is a pagan, nature-based religion. And like, I don't really view spells and practicing magic as like actual magic. It's so similar to like prayers that like, I hate when people are like, oh, well, you're a witch. I mean, sure, if you want to call me that, that's fine. But like, it's like, to me, spells are like putting like positive vibes out there. It's like thinking happy things and good thoughts, and everything in Wiccan is done in like a positive light. Everything is done for good. Nothing is ever malicious, nothing is negative, and that's what I really, really like about it. And I'm still learning about it. I'm still learning new things, new ways to practice, new ways to look at life. Like, and what I really like about it is that it ties everything down to the energy and connects everything back to the earth and like the way things happen. So my big example that I like try to give people is like, well, we all know there's an energy that like the moon gives off because it makes the waves pull in and out and creates the tides. Like, think about that. That is an energy. Everything has an energy about it. Every like little living thing, every like the blades of grass that grow, like everything has energy about it. And it has to, that ties in a way to like science as well, because like with science we learn like there's energy, and energy is transferred from thing to thing, and like that's why I like it. It ties all of those weird things together, but it also gives me like a way to direct like my thoughts and keeping them positive and like good for things. And like, do I struggle with that? Yeah, sometimes I'm really frustrated and like I don't want to think positively, but like 99% of the time I'm pretty positive, and like Wicca helps me like ground my thoughts, if that makes sense. But yeah, so I appreciate that my mom and my parents have something so important to them as their religion and their way of life, and that it means something to them, and it gives them something to believe in and gives them hope and faith and, you know, happiness for the future. And in the same way, Wicca does that for me. And, you know, learning in high school that like there's all these other religions and there's all these other ways of life, and like none of them are technically the right way, none of them are the wrong way. You know, we should all be able to exist in this world in harmony together. And like, I love discussing different religions and like what makes up them. The one thing I don't like is when people preach and like force their religion on you. Wicca just is a really nice way of keeping me happy and positive, and a reminder that everything affects everything else and there's always energy around us. And yeah, that's what I really, really like about it. If you are celebrating Mabon, I hope you have a wonderful harvest and a very happy celebration. And I wish all of the best to you and to everyone. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you believe and what you follow and like how you live your life. If you have a specific way, please subscribe. Click that notification bell if you want more videos, and give it a like. Thanks guys. Happy Mabon. Bye.